Hey, what's up guys? English Dave here with the Nerdy Bunch for yet another spoiler-free review. Once again, I'm here with my co-hosts Rocket Mike and Mercedes. What's up guys?
Hey.
Mike, I see you've transferred to the Overlook Hotel.
Yeah, I was trying to get what this movie reminded me of, and so I figured.
Overlook Hotel.
This is also reminding me of my quarantine days too. In fact, I couldn't even see the hallway. I was just locked into one room. Couldn't even leave that.
We are here to talk about You Should Have Left, starring Kevin Bacon, Amanda Seyfried, and I've never seen her before. We're introducing Avery Tui Essex, who I think stole the show in this movie. Personally,
yeah,
I think she stole the show. This is first-time director David Koepp. Though if you never heard his name, he has been involved in many franchises that you know and love. He is the writer of Jurassic Park, Mission Impossible 1, Spider-Man 1, The Mummy, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which we won't talk about that one.
It was okay. Can't over that one. It's okay.
But another movie that I feel like not many people talk about is Zathura, the true sequel to Jumanji. Did you know that? FYI, did you know about that?
I did not.
Yeah, the author of Jumanji, the sequel book, was Zathura. Those two stories are connected. Yeah, there you go. A little fun fact. Anyway,
maybe I need to watch that movie over again with a
You
different
should.
appreciation.
She's just sold it to me again after all these years.
Way to go, Dave. Alrighty.
Like I said, we get to talk about You Should Have Left. I like the title. I think the title got me more than anything else. You should have left. The synopsis is as follows.
Clever.
A former banker, his actress wife, and their spirited daughter book a vacation at an isolated modern home in the Welsh countryside where nothing is quite as it seems. I'll start with you, Mike. Did you see the trailer for this? What were you expecting, and how did you feel coming out of this?
So, since we are a news channel, I do get most of my news movie related from us. So when I see that we posted the trailer, I got maybe just through half of it, and then I'm like, okay, I'm already sold. I stopped halfway through because usually in horror movies, this is when they give away like the jump scares and a little interesting facts. I'm like, I don't want to know further. I want to go in knowing less than what I've already known now. So with that, I was like, all right, it's a creepy house. It's a good start. Always a good start. Some shadows on the wall. I like this. Kevin Bacon. I'm sold. All right. And I'm just going to go from there. And now, personally, expectations were met, but not exceeded. Far from exceeded. And then, I don't know. It kind of just, I felt like it held our hand, especially in the second half. It was like they over-explained it. And I'd like to just bring me along for the journey. It's the whole point of storytelling is for you to do your own thinking and take your own opinions of it. Didn't feel like there was one. It was like they just forced the opinion on you. It's like, here's what it really is. There's no question if it's this way or that way.
Mercedes, same thing to you. What did you want to get out of this movie, and what did you get out of this film?
So same. I didn't know really much about the film. Like Mike said, we get most of our movie news from the movie god Dave. He sent it to us, and we just watch. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll watch it. But yeah, I kind of just felt like at the end of the movie, I was like, I see what you guys did there. Oh,
and you saw it from like a mile away too.
That's the thing. I agree. I feel like I was hooked onto this movie from the title, right? I thought this would be a movie that's subverting all of horror cliches, right? Should have left. You always have that cliche of why the fuck do people stay in a haunted house as soon as you realize that it's fucking haunted? Leave. So I thought that's what the movie was going to be about. Like, I was ready to see a film about people making the smart decisions. And then we didn't get that film. I feel like we didn't. But the thing is, the movie starts off well. You're interested, you're intrigued. You're like, okay, where's the mystery? Okay, the house. Don't really like the design of the house, but okay, maybe that's not the point. Let's keep going.
Maybe they like to live in that prison culture. It's fine.
Exactly. There's a mystery. Things. There's a mystery with Kevin Bacon's character. What's the mystery about? Interesting. I don't know what it's about. It's something that's building. But by the time the movie ends and a lot of the revelations happen, you're like, okay. I mean, I get it. It's kind of cool, but it isn't like, oh, and I feel like the movie expected me to be like, oh shit.
That's why I was like,
blown.
I see what you did there. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We got spoiled from like the great series like House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah.
And so with that, I had those oh wow moments.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I didn't see that part of the
The
story
whole reason,
coming.
like, get out. Like that is a thing because that was creepy and scary. So it was like, yeah, you should have left. And then I was like, oh, that. Oh, okay.
And I don't think it's a spoiler to say that it's like, you know, we see in the trailer somebody or something leaves a message, you should have left, right? And watching the film, I'm like, they didn't really have an opportunity to leave. You know, like it's like in terms of
there was.
it's like there was, but there wasn't, and
Yeah.
it's like but the movie isn't surrounded around the idea of you should have left. I feel like the title's misleading because I think it's not sure what story it wants to tell. Is it about the history of Kevin Bacon's character? Because there's the mystery with his character that's separate from the house, right? It's a separate thing, and but it's like, it's because of that they're drawn to the house for some reason. But I just feel like the connection isn't as strong as the writers think it is. You know,
The thing about like the house choosing people to
exactly.
It
Yeah.
does revolve around some like biblical stories. I'll just use
Exactly.
that
So-
general term there.
It just didn't.
But it's too general.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because then it was like, oh, you should have left. So it's like clearly placing blame on the protagonist. But as you watch the film, like you said, David, the protagonist didn't really have a chance to leave. Because I'm sorry, like the things that led up to it, they're clues or they were warning signals. I would have been like, who are you? Like, why are you talking to me? Exactly. Do I know you?
And I think some of the
You wanna go
revelations, right? Some of the
Did
revelations.
you
that
even
are
introduce yourself? Like, what is your name?
And that's the thing. Like certain
that's
characters are kind of introduced, and obviously this movie, based on the title, it's a haunted house. It plays with supernatural elements, but even some of those elements are kind of just weak to me because by the time you get the revelations of what they are and what the connection is, it's like, oh, okay, I guess that works, but it's like, eh.
That's why I was like, oh, hey, I see what you
And
did there.
I'm sorry, but for me, a haunted house, again, the haunted house narrative, we've seen it a dime a dozen. You know, the haunted house narrative only
It was
works
like a
if the
mental
haunted-
health haunted house, where
Right.
it's like trying to explore like a therapist haunted house.
Yeah. Right.
Like I don't really know. If,
But
like,
I feel even then, the house itself is not interesting. And a haunted house movie needs to have an interesting house. Look at this hallway that you're in, Mike, right? The Overlook Hotel. You recognize, you see this hallway, you see the carpet, you're like, boom, I know that place.
Mhm.
I don't remember any look of this other building. You know, like it's a smaller building, but it's forgettable.
Is that
Completely
memorable?
prison. It
forgettable.
looked like a prison. And then when they kept being like, "Oh, this house is so beautiful." No, it's not. Stop playing. No, nobody puts white exposed brick inside of their house unless you are in a prison. We all know it's red exposed brick. That's the whole look. It's the
It's
country
warmer.
esque.
Yes.
Thank you. You don't put white exposed brick in your house and then like with the coats all lined up. Like this is where are the prison showers?
Let's talk about some of the actors though. We
Decorative
kind of
books.
mentioned Kevin Bacon. I think Kevin Bacon does what Kevin Bacon does. You know, I think he's fine in it.
He looks
He does
what
Kevin
needs to
Bacon
do.
well.
Great. How old
He
is
looks
Kevin
good.
Bacon?
I would say he does
He's
look
in
good.
his 60s.
I was
think.
like,
He looks good. He does look good. I'll give it to him. I've never loved Amanda
Okay.
Seyfried, but I feel like this movie doesn't necessarily give her a chance to shine. But it's
it
not
doesn't
her
give
fault
her
either.
anything.
You know, it doesn't really give her anything. It's not her fault. You know, even if I've never really cared for her, she's just kind of doing her best. The movie, she's kind of just there. I don't understand her character's motivation. You know, like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I liked at the beginning that the movie plays on their age difference, right? The movie kind of touches on that, but ultimately it's for nothing.
It didn't.
'Cause at
really
first it's
have
like,
to bear
okay,
enough. Exactly. Like
At first I was like, okay, this is interesting. At least we're establishing it. We're not ignoring it. I like this, but it's for nothing. It's
so
just
you're
trying
just
to
cementing
normalize-
the whole idea of like a vapid young actress just wants to be
Mhm.
with an old man for money.
That's it.
Okay.
Just normalizing that.
Just cool.
But I will say, as like I said at the top of the podcast, the little girl Avery Tui Essex, she was great.
Yes. Go.
She was
great.
absolutely great.
Those eyes, those like fucking
Oh my
puppy dog
goodness.
eyes that she gives in almost every
Oh
scene.
my goodness!
I
I
think
just wanted to grab her.
the
Just hug her.
director is basically like using her as to be the audience that are asking these questions, like, you know, we want to know. And, you know, her
She's
clear.
so cute.
Yeah. She was like, why? What's happening? It's like,
But she was-
"Aw."
But I'll give it to her. Like, she was sincere. It didn't feel like a child acting. You know, usually children at that age, when they're
No.
acting, it feels like they're acting. You know, she
Yeah.
was very sincere, and I
You
was,
felt like
I
she
was
was
sold on
asking
her.
all these questions in real life. That's just
Mm-hmm.
the whole point of acting, is to make you
Right,
think,
right.
forget that these people are acting.
Exactly.
Oh, good on her.
But I think she was the strongest part. But outside of that, I just think interesting things there. But the writers themselves, they didn't find the interesting things. They're there. You can tell they're there, but they didn't find it to introduce it to us as the audience. You know, we have to realize, oh, there's something interesting. Why don't you show us this? You know, like just little things like the location of the house could have been an interesting thing. Right, it's set. Yeah. It's like it's in Welsh. It's a Welsh.
Yeah, and then you do you show
no
all
reason why it's
countryside, and you don't use any of that. The fog and the mist, none of it.
It could have been in any location in the world. It wouldn't have made a difference to the story. You know,
like what was it cheaper to shoot the shoot in that prison thing? Like what? I don't know.
Probably.
Get it.
Probably.
Like nobody wants to go here.
In the prison
you
house?
guys want to film here? It's yours now. We're giving it away.
Let me stop. It wasn't that bad. I just the decor and like the set aesthetic was like lacking. I just
think for me this is a harder sell because it's on demand, so you have to pay for it. Like on top of a subscription. Like if it was part of a subscription you already had, maybe your
if this was a Netflix movie, I'd be like, go ahead when you got nothing else to do.
Right,
they want you to pay for it, and I'm not sure.
But and I also think like even as a cheap horror movie, it doesn't work because there's no scares. You think there will be, but I feel the scares, it didn't really scare me because like once you get elements of the revelation, there's creep to it. But I think the revelation kind of takes away the scares. You're like, oh.
Yeah, like I watch horror movies during the day because I'm a wimp, guys. I get scared just like
I'm safe.
And I was upset that I wasted my horror movie daytime for this movie. I was like,
it was.
I could have watched something else during the day that's scary, not this.
Jurassic Park scarier, written by David Kemp.
Oh my god, yeah.
Same writer.
People get eaten.
Right.
They get ate it up.
And I think it's usually when you have a first-time a long-time writer, first-time directing, usually the strength is in the writing, not the directing. But I feel like it wasn't the writing in this one. It wasn't the writing was the weakest aspect. I think like the problems start with the writing.
Tried. Yeah. Like the actors tried. Kevin Bacon was trying to do all the scared, like running up the stairs for y'all. He tried, y'all, but there was really nothing to work with in that script. And the little girl giving you those eyes, that's all she could give you was eyes because there was nothing in the script for her to talk about.
But questions, that's it.
Yeah,
questions that were not answered.
I'm with you, little girl. I've got a million questions that I'm never gonna get.
And then the motivation behind the whole thing was just like, so wait. Oh, okay.
Exactly. Like just like okay, that's the reason. Okay, end the story by the end. Anyway, on that note, thank you, Rocket Mike, as always.
And thank you as always.
Thank you, Mercedes.
Thank you, Dave. It's been a pleasure.
My name is English Dave, and this has been a Nerdy Bunch spoiler-free review for You Should Have Left. And if you do decide to watch it, it can currently be found on demand. Though we
told you not to. You should have left it.
Yeah, right. You should have not watched it.
we never endorsed it. You should have
left it out of your watch list.
Right, you should have left it out of your watch
unless
list.
It's free. Unless it becomes free.
That's all it is.
If it's free, y'all can watch it. Because then I'll be mad that you paid $3 for some movie that we told you not to watch.
Right. And as always, this time, Mike.
Keep it nerdy.
Keep it nerdy, guys. Peace.